Variables Control Charts, Xbar and S Charts, Chapter 5. Although the Xbar and R charts are the most commonly used control charts, other organizations prefer to work with the standard deviation because it can help them to understand the dispersion of the subgroups. So this lecture will cover the Xbar and S charts. So we use the Xbar and S charts when we have variable data and we have subgroup sample sizes bigger than 10. However, you need to understand when the subgroup sizes are less than 10, both charts, the S and the R charts, will graphically show the same variation. But as the subgroup sizes increase to 10 or more, extreme value has an undue influence on the R chart. Therefore, for larger subgroup sizes, the S chart is recommended. So how do we construct Xbar and S charts? Well, the first step is to select the quality characteristic. Once the quality characteristic is selected, then you have to choose the rational subgroups. And remember that when you select subgroup, it doesn't mean that you are selecting rational subgroup. They can be randomly selected, but it also they have to mean that they have the same opportunity to have common causes of variation. So they are randomly selected and they are a rational subgroup. Then you have to collect the data. And to collect the data, it is recommended to have at least 20 to 25 subgroup sample sizes. Once you do that, you're going to calculate the sample mean and the standard deviation for each subgroup. Then you're going to calculate the center lines for each chart. So you calculate the X double bar and the S bar. Then you calculate the control limits for the X bar chart, and this is using the A sub 3 factor, and the value of this factor is found on your appendix table B, page 514, and you read the value using the sample size for each subgroup. Once you have the control limit for the X bar chart, then you have to calculate the control limit for the S chart. And for this one, you are going to use other factors, the B4 and the B3, and they are located on the same table, table B in the appendix. And you're going to use the subgroup sample size to read the value. Then you plot the values on the S chart and the X bar chart with the center line and the control limits. Then your next step is to analyze the graph. And for this, you're going to see if you have points out of control, or if you have certain pattern that it could be considered the process to be out of control. And if this is true, you will investigate for those special causes of variation and apply corrective actions to eliminate them. So in reality, when you have this, you have a process that you will stop and you will investigate those special causes of variation, apply corrective action, start your process again, and draw more control charts and see if the process is stable. Theoretically, what we do is to remove those points from our data set and recalculate the center line and the control limits and see if by eliminate those points, which is the one that has special causes of variation, the process will be stable. So let's work on a example. So given the following data for subgroup sizes of 8, construct the Xbar and S charts. So in this example, they're giving us 25 subgroup sizes of 8, and we don't see the different x1, x2, x3. They're giving us the Xbar and the standard deviation. So the step number 4, in which we have to calculate the sample size mean and the sample size standard deviation, is not needed because it's given. So what I did, I copy and paste the data set given. And so let's start calculating the X-bar. And the X-bar will be the sum of your standard deviation for the sample, for the subgroup sizes given, divided by the total subgroup number, which is 25. And I'm going to add a $sign before and after the letters for each cell or the whole range, and this is to make sure that it's keeping the same cells for the calculation. To calculate the X double bar, also is the sum of the X bar given divided by the total subgroup size, which is 25. Same procedure, $sign, 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 and $sign. And then make sure that it's copying all their cells. To calculate the upper control limit, your formula says that is X double bar plus A sub 3, and this is a value in your table B in the appendix, and with a sample size of 8, A sub 3 is 1.099 multiplied by the S bar. Same for the rest, and then the lower control limit will be the X double bar minus the A sub 3 multiplied by the S bar. So it's 522. Good. So now let's do the numbers for the S chart. So we first calculate the center line. Then we calculate the upper control limit, which is the formula is B4 times X bar, and the B4 for sample size of 8 is equal to 1.8. No, it's let's see. Yes, it's 1.815 times your which is D4. No, D31. Perfect. Okay, and the lower control limit will be using B3, B sub 3, and for sample size of 8 is 0.185 multiplied by the S bar. Okay, so now let's graphic. And to graphic the X bar chart, we highlight the X bar column and the X double bar in the upper and lower control limit. We're going to insert line and select the first of the line. This is Microsoft 2007. And from this, we can see that there is maybe this point over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Point number 9. Yeah, that it is above the upper control limit. Also, there's one right here. This one is 0.18. Yes, it's below the lower control limit. Looks like the rest are good. within the lower and upper control limit. I don't see any train. So it looks like those two numbers are the ones that are giving problem with the process, and it's the ones that must be removed. That means applying corrective actions and see if the process is in state of control after that. Okay, if we graph the S chart, from here we observe that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, point number 6, yes, it's above the upper control limit. No one's below, so that's good. So we have 1 point here. So what we have to do is to revise both. So I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to call this revise limits. What we do for the X bar is to just delete. I'm going to delete number 9, number 18. Okay, so to calculate the X bar, delete this to calculate the X bar. It is like subtracting, so I'm just going to do it again. Calculate the sum of the S given by, now we eliminate 2, so we have 23 values. Very good. And then for the X double bar, do the same. So this is the sum of the X bar divided by 23. Oh, I forgot to do something at $sign, 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 and $sign. So now we have the right value here. Perfect. And same here, $sign, $sign. So it can be kept the same. Now to calculate the upper and the lower control limit, we're not going to be using the same a sub 3 for the X bar. The formula is now to use a. And using a with a sample size of 8, this value is 1.061. So this is the new value. We have the X double bar and the perfect. And this one will be minus 1.061. Very good. So let's do the same with the S bar. So we eliminate the S chart, the one that is giving us the problem, and we recalculate the center line. This is divided by 24. I'm going to add the $sign. Okay, and then grab it all the way down. Okay. Then for this one, instead of using B4 and B3, we are going to be using B6 for the upper and B5 for the lower. So B6 with a sample size of 8 is equal to 1.751. So this is equal, and this is times the 87. Okay, and instead of using B3, we're going to be using B5, and B5 is 0.179. Okay, so let's graphic. We grab the X bar and the last 3 columns, which are the control limits. Select line, and let's see what we see here. Maybe we have 2 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Point number 6. No, point number 6, yes, is below the lower control limit. And also we are looking at another point, 15, which is also below the lower control limit. There's no one above. There's nothing above 581, but we have 2 numbers below 524. Okay, looks like we have to revise those again. Let's graphic the S chart. So we go to Insert, Line. This is using Microsoft 2007. And it looks like our process is under control in this case. So that means that we only have to revise 1. So we're gonna right here, and we're going to delete this one, and we're going to check now. We're deleting 2, so this is gonna be 121, and then the cells will 117 all the way to 137. Okay, and for X double bar, same 21, and this one is from 117 to 137. And we are keeping using the new factors, which is the A. Very good. Okay, so now we graphic this one. Go to Insert, Charts, Line, select the first one, and now our process seems to be under control. So we use the Xbar and S chart when we would like to measure the subgroup dispersion. And if we want to be more precise, when we have subgroup sizes of 10 or more.